Hello dreamers, my name is Jennifer Clarascura. Welcome to my home. And in this episode, I'm going to be doing a little bit of dream work on a recent dream that I've had. The dream that I'm about to tell you could very well be discarded as, oh my God, what a weird dream. But I believe that every dream has something for you, has some sort of a message. And even if you don't believe in dream work, or you don't think it's like a definite interpretation, which I don't either, honestly. I feel like interpretations evolve. But that doesn't mean that you can't get meaning out of it and learn something from it in the process of trying some tools out. Therefore, here goes the dream. I'm in the street and I realize that there may be some strange looking zombies around. I didn't come to that conclusion immediately though, but as soon as I saw people breaking off arms and blood gushing out and all these strange things, I quickly understood that whoever was touched by these beings would turn into one of them. So what did they look like? They didn't look like regular zombies. That's the one thing that caught my attention later when I woke up. But in the dream, nonetheless, these were what zombies were. And this is how they looked. Like an anatomy body without the skin. You know, you see that in science class, all the muscles and the eyeballs, you know, head to toe, but no skin. It was literally like something from a science book. But on their heads, they had tentacles flying out. So that was the unique element, I guess you could say. The tentacles were just, you know, waving around in a crazy fashion. They also looked a little bit like Alex Grey paintings. I don't know if you've seen it, but he has a lot of paintings that I guess some people could call psychedelic, with skin and with bones, muscles and eyeballs. So these were the zombies. And then as I was running away from them, I realized that I was running with Oprah. Many of you know Oprah Winfrey is a famous talk show host and also, I guess, an advocate to spirituality in a way, New Age movement, The Secret, Law of Attraction, and at the same time, she's a big humanitarian. So there's a lot of things in Oprah that will come, I guess, later, will play in later on as I tell the dream even more. So Oprah was chubbier than she actually is, and she was wearing yellow. The zombies, we sort of surrendered to them, and she knew that she was just gonna get eaten. So as the zombie was on top of her, but not eating her, he just seemed to be like on top of her. I tried to get away, but the zombie reached back and got me and said, don't go because I need you for when I'm teething. And so it was just like nibble on me, but not eating me. It was just like a harmless, like something a puppy dog would do, I guess, or your toddler, if they were teething. As soon as that scene ended, I was in a house and everybody was getting away from this supernatural vampire that looked like Tim Curry from the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Everybody was like, oh, don't wake him up. He's gonna, you know, devour everyone, because apparently he had fallen asleep or he'd been hit on the head and he was down. Somebody did wake him up, and when he came out, he tried to come at me, but the way he would suck the blood out of everyone was strange. It wasn't through biting, it was through his hands. So he put his hands to me like that. And at that moment, my awareness kicks in a sense where I always know I'm more powerful than anything strange that's going to be happening in the dream. It's a weird instinct, I want to say. So I am super powerful, and I'm just like, you cannot touch me. More gigantic than usual, and he's wearing black. And he's like, ooh. Like very surprised and intrigued and aroused by my power. And he's like, let's go to another room, suggesting, I guess, to have sex or something, but I just find that's kind of like a stupid move to make, so I just don't do that. So the dream shifts to a panel of lucid dreamers. And the head of the panel, the head of the leader walks in, and he looks like David Bowie, but with a huge orange afro and like animal feathers or whatever. He's just very, very, once again, very like drag queen, flamboyant, more of a David Bowie, less drag queen, but more like artistic musician kind of person. And it's known to the whole room that he has the power, and his name is Lucid Angel, or Angel Lucid, or something like that, with the word angel in it, and lucid. And he walks in, and as he walks in, I'm a little bit upset at him, because he's got all these people around him, and he's got the most power, and he's not sharing it, he's not giving back, he's keeping it to himself. And I'm thinking, wow, he could really have the power to just grab one person at a time and elevate them, but he's not. But at the same time, I can see how he needs his power. In any case, I was having this resistance to how he was managing his power. At first, I didn't think too much of it. I just thought, oh boy, did I just have a bunch of crazy dreams last night. But I know better. And I do dream work as a daily practice, no matter what dream I get. Lucid, or regular, or shamanic, or whatever you want to call it. A lot of labels are thrown out there. Even astral, I will explore it symbolically. I find that that's my language. That's how I understand things. I don't think symbology is just to do with dreams. I believe it's a way, it's a language that's worth speaking, that's worth learning. And it's a different way to perceive the world and the universe around us. It's a different way to perceive, and shouldn't be shut down just because it's not literal. Because literal was only invented not long ago. Honestly, think about language, where it comes from and how far does it go. And our origins. So this for me, the language of symbols is the most natural language, more than regular language. And so the first thing I do is to remove all the labels. So even though I will go into why zombie, I first want to go into the description of a zombie. Science class, muscles and eyeballs. Strong, because they were muscular, like those graphic encyclopedias that we've all seen growing up or in school. So for me, that means a couple of things. Then I'll get into why it was chasing me. But first, and that's that they were strong, and they were powerful, they were fearless, muscles exposed, no skin, so they were exposed. Their insides were exposed. They wanted everyone to be like them. They weren't really eating people, they were transforming people. See, already so much different than if you were to just take the dream for the regular language sake. I always encourage you to break it down. You'll get so much more. Something they had in common with the drag queen vampire was that they weren't eating anybody. They were doing whatever they were doing through energy, through different forms. So why was I running away, and why Oprah? If I were to take into consideration everything I just said about these strange zombies, that would probably have something to do with my current state of being, which is exposing myself in public, being strong, and well, possibly my resistance towards that, towards being exposed, seen the inside. So if they were me, if these crazy exposed and strong zombies that convert people, that transform people, and they're also psychedelic people, and which is like a mind expanding thing, right? They open doors, but they also bleed. and if they're destroyed, if they're mutilated or something, but they just want you to be, they just wanted me to be near and not go away because they were teething. And see, something that's supposed to be so horrific gets this like tender baby or puppy quality to it, you know, the teething, and that's, to me as a mom, it's not something so far from what I deal with on a day-to-day basis. So I felt like I stayed there to aid that zombie in its teething, and I was kind of helping it. So in the sense, we need each other. That's the feeling. Oprah is there to accompany me. Who is Oprah? Oprah is a very public persona, like I mentioned earlier. She's very public. She's a talk show host. She's in front of the cameras. So and she's also into like spirituality and new age things. And I suppose that I have a little bit of all of that within me too. I am in front of the camera. I might not be as big as Oprah, but maybe that, and she was big also in weight. So, you know, this is how I guess the heavyweights of the industry, and my feelings about becoming known and being out there. I understand how it can be as scary as a zombie. Meanwhile, that's probably at the same time what I fear, and at the same time it's what they stand for. You know, the Alex Gray psychedelic experience, eyeballs opening the doors of perception. So I feel like this is something that I'm struggling against, that I was struggling unconsciously for a while, is possibly how far am I willing to take this, being exposed, and at the same time, through all the consciousness exploration that happens. I'm not a psychedelic drug user, so I mean, it's not something I really care about. And I've noticed that in the spiritual community, there are a lot of them out there. And it's not like I haven't tried it. I've tried it in the past couple of times, one good, one bad. Either way, I feel like I don't relate to those people. And I don't want to say those people because a lot of them are really wonderful people, but I mean those people as in, there are just a lot of them that are into the psychedelic experience. And I feel like I'm in the natural dream astral psychedelic experience. There's nothing that I'm going to take. I just feel like it comes from me, this experience. I don't need to go on a trip like that. I journey within myself all the time. So I guess that's clear to me, but it's also how I feel about my peers, I guess, that are, you know, psychedelic crazy, DMT and all these things. And I might feel a little overwhelmed by the amount of people that can relate to that. And I just feel like a little bit of an outsider. And I guess Oprah, because Oprah is very straight, she doesn't seem like the type of person that would do any psychedelics or anything. She's a pretty straight edge person, but at the same time she's still successful, she's still spiritual. So I can understand how I found her as a grounding safety zone, and I was glad that she was with me because I didn't feel like there was anybody with me. And that's usually how I feel about the spiritual community, and when everybody starts talking about psychedelics, I just can't relate to it. I don't find it that fascinating or necessary for myself and my own journey. It's not, you know, I know that a lot of them have had epiphanies. That's good for them, but I can't relate to it. So it's my feelings of how consciousness expansion is probably linked with a lot of people with that, and for me it's not. And I feel rather alone about it. So the other thing that sticks out in this dream is the powerful strength, transformation, and the gigantic drag queen vampire that looked like the Rocky Horror Picture Show, played by Tim Curry, was flamboyant and loud and big and bigger than life. Also in control and powerful. not quite destructive, but yet has the power to obliterate you if you wanted to. And I feel like, once again, this has got to do with me and my public persona and my shadow, which is probably my light, because we're talking about a very extravagant person. And he's showing me how he's admiring me because I'm powerful, more powerful. So the realization in that play that he wants to have sex with me means he wants to, it's an integration process that I need to do about that person. Why it was so loud and flamboyant is because I have disowned this loud and successfully flamboyant and powerful persona within me, possibly. And about the zombies being like a scientific anatomy, I feel like, and I was intimidated or scared by them, I almost feel a lot of dreamers in the community, they feel comfortable throwing around their science because for some reason they feel more validated or more normal about what dreams are or what they can do. And I've never been interested in that. I've never thought that I really needed to throw any science around because for me, the mystery of what dreams are is just as important probably as the science. But the science, you know, there's so much science out there and it's not really like, wow. I don't think it's like groundbreaking science, honestly. I feel like people are just like, oh, wow, you know, but it's not anything that I feel will make a difference in my content. And if they really want a scientifically minded dreamer, there's so many out there that do that. And I guess I also feel like I'm surrounded by people who validate a lot of their work with science. And I also have these feelings of where do I fit in that, and that they probably don't resonate with me because of that. And I don't know, something to think about. I like the way that I'm going, and I don't feel called to throw around science. My colleagues do, and that's fine. You know, that's fine for them too. So whoever finds me is not looking to be proven that dreams are important to the brain, because the brain is not my main concern. The soul is. I'm more of a spiritual dreamer, I guess you could say. And though I do a lot of psychological stuff, shadow work and everything, it's also spiritual. So science for me is like a detour distraction. It's just not enough to call my attention in that, but I am surrounded by it, so I can see that element of it also playing in.